Hi, everybody, and happy Friday Finds. Today, I want to share a bit about the elements of the zodiac: fire, air, earth, and water. And I'm going to start with this quote from John O'Donohue in his book, The Four Elements: Reflections on Nature. So, it is ontologically and spiritually true that each person is privileged and burdened with the gift of uniqueness. There is no escape from this. No one else sees your life in the way that you do. No one else feels your life in the way that you do. Neither can any other stand on the same ground as you. Destiny has decreed this. You are the unique inhabitant of your own reality and of your own life. What I love so much about this quote is the one that struck me the most is the line about the privilege and burden of the gift of uniqueness, because that felt so true to me. We hear all the time, just be yourself, just be yourself. And I, for so long, was questioning who that self was. And so when I discovered mystical tools and astrology in particular, which is where I first learned about the elements, it was really a guiding post of me to remember my own unique essence and my own uniqueness. And I love the elements for that. And so this is a very quick overview of what the elements represent in an astrology and how they can help you to understand yourself and others on a deeper level. So to begin, each zodiac sign is related to one of the elements. And here is the zodiac. So we start here with the symbol of Aries, and then it goes around. So for the fire symbols, we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For the earth symbols, we have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. For the air, we have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And for water, we have Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And for fire, I said Sagittarius. I feel like I said Aquarius twice in there. I don't know. So these are this is the zodiac, and these are the way the elements break down according to the zodiac signs. And what does that mean? So we'll just go to the next page here to give a little bit more information. And so the way that I studied astrology and continue to study astrology is through a psychology lens. And there's a lot of Carl Jung's influence in astrology these days, because he talked a lot about individuation, was his word, or self-realization, and the fact that human beings had to understand their all elements of their self, which is the intuitive body, physical body, mental body, and emotional body. And he said bringing all of those together and understanding those parts of ourselves is crucial to just understanding who we are on a fundamental level. And he likened those to the elements as well. So intuitive body is fire, physical body is earth, mental body is air, and emotional body is water. So when we break this down into astrology, this is a little box that I cut. It's from my astrology chart on astro.com. This is fire, air, earth, and water. And what that means is where each planet in my whole astrology chart, which I showed you an astrology chart in video 1, so you can have a quick view of that if you'd like, but which planets fall into which signs. So this is my sun sign, for example. Here, this is a little symbol of the sun, and it's in the air line because I'm an Aquarius, which is an air symbol. So this whole chart here breaks down the elements in my chart. So fire, air, and water are pretty balanced. I'm mostly now it also depends, and we're not going to get into this in this video, but I have a couple of symbols here in earth, but they're not very strong grounding symbols. So I have very little earth in my chart because each planet also represents a different aspect of our personality as well, and some have stronger influences on us just depending on their location to earth, really, and how often they rotate. So anyways, I digress, because there's so much to astrology that I can just go down these little rabbit holes. And I'm a very, like I'll say in all these astrology videos, I'm a very 101, but I want to share the things that have helped me in a simple way. So for somebody who may have a lot of fire in their chart, for example, that is a person who can be very action oriented. They can be very creative and be very flashy. Think of just like a fiery person. If you watched, it's a silly show, but Emily in Paris, I always thought her character was really fiery. She's an example to me of like a fiery person, where she just had her cute little outfits and she was always just getting things done. So that's an example of kind of like a fiery person in terms of a character. And the other thing that I love about Carl Jung's approach to the elements and understanding ourselves is the light and shadow. So you probably have heard of shadow work, and Carl Jung, I don't know if he coined that term, but he talks a lot about shadow work. And similar to the elements, like fire warms and it burns, right? So human beings also have two sides to us, which we have a harder time accepting. We don't question why fire burns. We just understand that it does. And so we respect it and we navigate around it and we use it for, constructive ways like cooking or warming or just gathering. Fire is such an amazing, who doesn't love sitting around a fire, right? And we don't question why it would burn us. We just understand that it does. But when it comes to people and human nature, we're less understanding of the fact that we all have sides that can warm and burn us, which is the light and shadow that exists within everything in the universe, and including human beings. So that's light and shadow, very high level. But so similarly, so someone with fire who may not be in the positive or the, light aspect may be someone who is quick to anger. They may be good at really starting things but not following through on things. They may be a bit scattered at times, or if you're lacking fire in your chart, you can feel just a bit dim. Like think about when the fire's out, like things may feel a bit dim. You may feel a bit meh, like just not inspired, not feeling very creative, not feeling very alive at times when our fire can be out. So when it comes to earth, this is our physical body, and it's really about grounding and stability and connecting with nature and just feeling into our physical body. So someone with a lot of earth elements in their chart, maybe somebody who's very physical, like they may just really enjoy working out and kind of feeling grounded. They may have like kind of like a gardener, like think of like nature-y person, those people who really enjoy hiking often or just using their physical body, and also just someone who's really can be a very calm and grounding presence for us. I think on the flip side, somebody's with earth, a lot of earth in their chart can be overly material at times, meaning they feel so connected to the material world in a way that can leave them feeling very worried about material sustenance a lot. Worried about enough income, worried about enough, just having enough. And that's not, it's these, but just, someone with an overly earth thing can maybe be really tuned in and very focused on those things as well, of just like what's happening with my material, like earthy substances, resources, I should say. And I have very little earth in my chart. So as someone with no earth in their chart, they can be a bit ungrounded at times, like out in space, which is me. A lot of times I can be a little spaced out, not feeling very grounded, having a harder time connecting to my physical body at times. So that can be someone who lacks earth. So it just means being more mindful of the fact that you may need a little bit more grounding to really feel some structure. And so someone with a lot of air in their chart, or what the air element represents, is awareness and perspective and reflection and communication. You think about our mental body, how we think, how we communicate. So someone with a lot of air in their chart may always be considering multiple angles of a situation. They may be a very chatty person, but they may be the person who's like always offering an alternate perspective. Like they may just have like a lot of awareness of what's happening in any given situation. They can be overly chatty or overly communicative at times. And similarly, when someone doesn't have a lot of air in their chart, they can be kind of mired in their own story. They may have a harder time seeing other perspectives. They may just tend to be someone who shows up in a space and has a hard time seeing outside of their own reality. So someone may, if you know that you have little air in your chart, it's something to be mindful of like checking in on another's perspective when you, so it's just kind of, that's it. So I'll get there in a second. But so water is our emotional body, our emotional intelligence, our intuition, our sense of home and belonging, really how we process things. Someone with a lot of water also, they can be like a very nurturing presence for us. They can be someone who can hold space for a wide range of emotions. Alternatively, they can be overly emotional or called overly emotional at times, because if they're not sure how to regulate their emotions. And someone who may not have a lot of water in their chart may just rely on logic. They may find it more difficult to get in touch with their emotions and just feel way more comfortable in the logical realm. So someone with less water may just need to be mindful of that, of like it's, to be able to communicate again how they operate in the world. And so all of these elements, and I say all of this, again, very high level, quick overview, but the purpose of this is to just understand that when you understand your chart in this way, you can understand what comes easy naturally to you and what may require a little more effort on your end. It also helps you to understand that others similarly have a unique makeup, that certain things may come naturally to them and certain things may not come naturally to them. So it kind of offers us a bit more, I think, understanding of ourselves and others when we can say, oh, like that person, just their makeup, their elemental makeup is, they don't have, like, for example, we'll just look at my chart because it's what's right here. Like Maggie likes a lot of earth. She can tend to be spaced out. Her, she can tend to not have a lot of focus on material things, like, organizing and structure requires effort for me. Like it's not something that comes natural to me. Like I don't tend to be very organized. I tend to with like, it's not my biggest concern. Part of the reason I've been living this nomadic lifestyle is that the earth substance, material substance wasn't my biggest concern. Like spending savings on travel is something an overly earthy person may never do, right? Or not want to do. So that's just a quick overview, and I'm kind of rushing the end of this because I want to keep these videos short, but that's an intro. Maybe I'll have a part 2 to this just to get more in depth. I do want to have a part 2 to go more in depth on each element. But okay, hope you enjoyed this one, and sorry for rushing the end, but I have to go to work now. Bye, everyone.